there everyone, hope you're doing well today. We're going to do a reading today called At What Point Did They or Will They Fall For You? So it doesn't really matter, depends at what point you are in your relationship. And I'm going to try and make it sort of a story, like a beginning, a middle and an end. So once again, you just choose what part of the relationship you are and what has happened and what possibly could happen. You have got 3 piles as usual. Pile number 1 blue, pile number 2 pink, and pile number 3 is the purple. So if you want to make your choice, and then we'll get started. So I think this story has started. Their first impressions of you are somebody who's very strong, somebody who's probably very good at being self-sufficient, looking after yourself. There's a real sort of awareness of who you are and where you stand in life. It makes me think of somebody that sits there. This Empress card makes me think of the Empress, but it's the fact that she's seated on her seat in the usual Rider-Waite and she's just beautiful and grounded. There's that healthy feel and that abundant feel and being grounded feel. I know that Venus isn't an earth sign, but it's that sort of, Taurus is of course, maybe it's a Taurusy sort of, Taurus are very good at being sexy in being exactly who they are, where they are at that space and that moment in time. They're the type of people that you want to stand next to you when your life's gone to pot, because they just seem smoothing, soothing, silky, and just, I can't explain it. It's a really beautiful feel of, it's like chocolate. You like chocolate. It's like something that just makes you feel as if you're there in that moment and it's smooth. And that's really rubbish, that, isn't it? But that is how this is making me feel. The strength and the Empress together make me feel of beauty and somebody who is just present. You've got the Knight of Wands here, so as well with the Empress makes me think that there's a real sexual attraction. The Knight of Wands. So I don't know whether you've come into their life in a very sort of quick manner, whether you've just walked into a room and they've been sat there and it's almost taken them aback, or whether there's just something that's lit them up in some way. There's a real, I didn't feel this when I first looked at the cards, but there's a real beauty and almost being bowled over by it. It's type of cards that I would expect where you've come in like a flash in the pan. You've started talking really fast, they're just standing there and they've gone really quiet and they're just watching and thinking, what on earth, and you've gone away and this person's got a smile on their face. There's something fast and sexy and grounded about you that's just, I would feel from this thinking that this person, you've bowled this person over. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a bit exciting to me. It's a bit that type of pile where you've come in like a tornado. But it's almost as if you've been like a tornado with a sort of south wind when you're on a holiday, where it just is beautiful and you can smell the flowers and you're out on a moped and it's late at night and you're in a Greek island type of feel. And then you go home, the light goes out and it's like, wow. It's that type of sexy impact you've had on them. Oh, that's very exciting. Right, then I'm going to take a jumper off in a minute. This has developed into what I would think that with the Empress card here, which I'm assuming is you, male or female, it's still that beauty that's grounded. It's still that beauty that's there. It's that beauty that you can't get off your mind because it just makes a huge impression. With the Strength card there, it's a composed, compact, contained beauty. You're just who you are and you're not easily affected by somebody. That's very Taurus though, isn't it? Very Taurus, you can't rile them very easily. You get somebody who's quite high, somebody who's easily excited. I always think it's sort of like a thyroid energy. I always think, you know, that sort of Aquarius, Gemini feel, and they're a little bit high, and you know that you can flip them. I know what I'm talking about here on this bit. And then you get that Taurus energy. And me being who I am, I just love to... I remember when the kids were young and we used to go to play groups, and, you know, it's all really loud, and I used to sort of slide towards the earthy people because their conversation was just smooth and easy, and they were there and they just smooth you out. It's just a really beautiful feeling. And this person has picked up from you. And I think as it's developed, this person coming up as the Emperor here, and you being the Empress, male or female, doesn't matter, has felt that you match them. Has felt that feeling later on in the relationship, probably. It could have been later on that day. I don't know how long the relationship's been going. It's that feeling of, this person matches me. This person has that strength of character. This is like them being a bit vain. Has that strength of character. Has that type of personality where I feel that they could be a match for me. And I wonder whether they've tried to reach out to you in some way, in some sort of practical way, to try and show their interest. There's that Six of Pentacles here, makes me feel that they've almost tried to do something, to offer you something, to help you with something. Whether it's a work relationship or whether it's just something practical, like them reaching out, making a phone call, getting in touch with you, and you're wondering whether they're interested or whether they're just like that with anybody or everybody. And then it may have even followed after that of them thinking, I may have tipped the boat over a little bit too far, and maybe pulling back a little bit. So really nice beginning cards here for first impressions and how the relationship's developed. There's a really, really strong physical attraction. There's a recognition of you possibly being very similar. There's an excitement. I've got a funny feeling that you are just some sexy beast that's come in and overtaken them in some way, that's but put them, and I say this often and I actually mean it, put them on their back foot but with a smile on their face. It's like somebody who you weren't expecting comes into your workplace, comes into your life in any way whatsoever, and you think, good God, who's that? And then you're out of there, and then they're left with this feeling. I wonder whether they just felt excited at the time, forgotten about it, and then when thoughts come back on you, do you know when you fancy somebody even more when you're not with them? The Emperor card, following on from this other story develops, makes me think that they've actually thought about you a lot after the initial contact, and then they've tried to reach out to you in some way, which is a small way, I think, but it's something that's seen as, with the Six of Pentacles, as being very helpful, being very Virgo, being very just sweet and kind, and sort of like an innocent act. Can I bring your shopping in? Would you like a coffee? Can I help you with your work? Would you like to do homework with me? Can I fix your bags? That type of feeling. And then they probably think that they may have, I wonder if they feel a little bit out of their depths with the attraction here, and then the Nine of Wands, wary defensive gardens, as if they may have move these up for you, sorry, as if they may have pushed the boat out a bit too much and retracted slightly. I don't get a great feeling of defensiveness here, but it's like attraction, huge attraction, you coming in like a tornado, them recognising you probably later on. Initially, yes, there's just attraction. Later on, it's a lot of, I would assume thinking this person could be my equal type of feeling, and then making some sort of gesture towards you, and then wondering whether you feel the same, whether, you're probably the type of person with the Empress and the Strength that a lot of people are attracted to, and wondering whether they're making a fool of themselves. That's what I'm getting from the initial impact at the beginning. How exciting. Right, let's go a little bit further. What point did they fall for you? How's my battery doing? No point telling you because you won't be here by that time. I'm just going to say I will need to change my battery. Oh. Oh, bless. Look, the card is just stuck in there. I'm going to put that there because I'm always want to make the day even brighter. I'm going to put the Two of Cups. It's actually from this pile here, which has got stuck in here. and I was just about to take it out, this pile here, from an old reading, and the Two of Cups was sticking out in this pile here, so I'm going to put it there. It goes very much with the reciprocity avenue there, so reciprocal feelings. The attraction you felt for them, I think, especially with the Empress and the Emperor, was very much felt on both sides. This is the Empress and the Emperor is equality. It's this person. I wonder whether your person's got quite a strong ego, because them coming up as the Emperor makes me think of ego and a strength of character. You're coming up as the strength, and the Empress with regards to their first impressions. So it's almost as if this person thinks they're a little bit of kingpin and you could be their queenpin. That type of feeling. Almost, you know, like Posh and Beck's on their thrones at their wedding. That type of feeling. Makes me think of a Leo quality, somebody who feels like you are on their... I'm trying to think of a... I'm thinking of a barometer on... he or she probably has a barometer on where their mate needs to come up to a certain point. It's making me, because the Emperor card is making me think of that Capricorn feel as well. And the Leo, there's like a pride feel here of making sure that somebody they find attractive has to come up to some sort of barometer level and you hit it. I get a feeling of slight arrogance here in a nice way, in a sort of Leo way. Do you know, don't you just love Leos when they're full of themselves? Oh, I do. A real attraction to Leos. My son's got like 4 planets in Leo, and when he has his hair cut and he really fancies himself, he'll walk around the kitchen with his chest puffed out for about half an hour. The hairdresser loves him because she gets that, you know, that, I don't know, that recognition back in her abilities. Anyway, enough of that. Okay. I might need to put... Your cards are really strong for pile number 1. Let me just move them away. How can I fit more beauty into a screen? Okay. These cards, the initial cards here, are for the problem in the relationship. And I get a funny feeling you've got the Page of Cups with regards to the problem. You've got the King of Cups with regards to the problem. And it's in between the Fool. I love the Fool card. I love lots of things today. I love the Fool card because to me it's just exciting. It's new beginnings. It's a wake-up call. To me, it's one of the most exciting cards in the pack, because when life gets a little bit stiff, when life gets a little bit repetitive and a little bit dull, it's that wake-up call, and this is just you can't put it any other way. With the Page of Cups, King of Cups on the other side, it's just a real... You've got the Ace of Cups here. It's a real explosion of feelings with regards to them. The problem here is probably it's too overwhelming for them, especially with this defensive card here. It's as if this person is definitely, you probably both are with your strength card here. This person is definitely trying to hold back their attraction for you. I wonder why. I don't know why. I don't know why they would do that. I wonder whether they're quite spontaneous anyway, with the Fool card here, and or very sort of Pluto, where they get quite obsessed quite easily and they've fallen for you big time, and then they feel like they know that they're a bit like a puppy feeling here, that they get quite excited and trying not to show it, almost trying to be cool because they've been tricked up in past relationships with showing too much too soon, being too fiery. There's no fire here. This feels like a real fiery pile though. I mean, this is just feelings. Okay, so if it's not fire, which it probably isn't, if there's no fire here, it's probably like somebody who has contacts, Venus, Pluto, Moon, Pluto, where the emotions are very deep, and when they surface, they really surface and they don't go down easily, and you think a lot about you and they feel a lot for you, and it's slight positive, I would assume, in this, an obsessive quality of falling in love. I'm looking for a problem here, and to be honest, I can't really see any apart from the fact that it's just too much. turning point in this relationship, the Three of Cups, is when they've seen you, which I'm assuming, yeah, they've seen you in a group doing something, and they've just seen you, or they've seen you in your everyday situation surrounded by people, or they have just there's just a real connection here. If it's not that there's actually been a physical get together, but I'm assuming there's been lots of people around you. There's a real opening. Ace of Cups, King of Cups, Page of Cups. Their turning point, when did they start falling for you? There's two scenarios here. Either they've seen you milling around your life, doing what you're doing, and there's something very gentle and very kind and very Venus about you, because you've got the Empress card here, you've got the Ace of Cups here for the turning point, and they've fallen for you because there's such an emotional fear behind this. Or there's three in the relationship. They know that you're with somebody, but that's still not stopped their feelings. In fact, I wonder whether if this person likes a challenge, it might have made it even stronger for them. And the problem is, this is the only slight problem. It's like the only negative bit is they either think you're not interested, and there's something to get to you. They have to do something underhand to get to you. Yeah, okay. It makes me think that they have either seen you being very, I'm going to say male or female, very feminine. There's something very caring, very nurturing. I don't mean that men aren't caring or nurturing, not at all. Quite the opposite, to be honest. It's just that feminine feel of that, the energy typified, I suppose, of being very sweet, magnetic, giving, caring, there for other people, very honest, very open, and very good with other people. That's when they've decided that they've fallen for you. It's not the fact, it's not the attraction, it's not their feelings, it's how you act with other people, and the fact they're not sure whether you feel the same for them. There's something in your personality, and it's not just your looks, it's your energy, and it's your feminine energy. Male or female, it's that sweetness, it's that caring, it's the way that you act with others that has pulled them into the abyss. It's almost as if the attraction's there, the feelings are there, they're watching, they're playing, they're watching, they're playing, they're overthinking. And what really gets this person is somebody who is sweet and giving. There's too many cup cards here for it not to be. And for this to be the turning point, you've got cups, cups, cups. It's got something to do with what I would say are your emotional qualities, the way that you nurture. Could be something to do with your gentleness, your imagination, the way you are with people, with groups of people, the way you give out without thought of having to have something back. You know, there's people that just do things without wanting it to be reciprocated. They've given out to you and wanted something back to boost their ego. You give out to others, and they've seen this without expecting anything back. It's as if possibly I'm giving an example here, possibly in a work situation, you've put yourself on the line a bit by giving to somebody, and they can see that you're not expecting a leg up, you're not expecting anything back from that person, and they've really fallen for you. It's just that energy that you carry around with you as if you've got more to give, and the strength of personality not to feel like you've pulled too much out of yourself while you're giving, which I think is one of the most beautiful qualities. To be able to give without feeling that you're draining yourself. But I think the Strength card here and their turning point here has got something to do with, as I said at the beginning, there's a groundedness about you. There's that stability, that real Taurusy feel of being loving, being open, and being almost like an eternal fountain of it's just the gift that keeps giving, but you don't empty yourself while you're doing it. To me, it's just beautiful. That's when there's something with this person, they recognise beauty in outside people. As I'm not saying that outside as well, but there's something to do with softness and femininity and watery qualities of emotions and nurturing and giving, possibly imagination, creativity. There's just beauty here in this, and they've recognized that in you. And I've got a funny feeling with the Three of Cups and Ace of Cups here, the way that you give out to other people, and the Four of Cups and the Seven of Swords here makes me wonder whether this is the turning point, whether they've actually felt as if I want to be on the receiving end of all that. Their feelings were there in the first place, and then it sort of develops into, you know, when somebody's picked something off the shelf, when you're in a sales and I've said this before ages ago, and somebody takes something off the shelf and you really decide you want that because somebody else has got it. That is the turning point. They've seen you or heard about something, or somebody's talked to them or told them about something that you've done, or discussed something. You know, so and so, they did this for this person, or, you know, they're so, could even be like they've overheard a conversation about you and somebody's discussing how nice you are and how giving you are and how, you know, how funny and open, blah blah blah, and it's like it's almost igniting. What I would feel is the watery, but the Pluto watery bits here, where it becomes, I want some of that, I really want some of that, rather than I can see how attractive they are. Then it's, yeah, I want some of that. This person matches me, matches my emotions. Your Ace of Cups here, they're coming up. Page of Cups, King of Cups, male or female, doesn't matter. This whole pile is a huge swelling ocean of beauty and emotions to me. The next cards don't really. Let me see if I can fit these all in. Whoop, whoop. Okay, next cards. Get away from my cards, sloppy candle. Do you know what I'm getting now, which is a real shame? Real shame. Is I think your person has almost tried to back down their feelings. I'll pull these cards in front of you because they're harder to see from over there. So the beauty that is your pile till now, and then it comes to how is it resolved. This person has, I'm assuming, turned in on themselves to try and contain their feelings towards you. So I'm not saying it's gone backward at all. It's just the King of Pentacles is in charge of himself. The King of Pentacles, whether it's a queen, it doesn't really matter, is somebody who sees life practically and has almost turned from all the sort of emotional, feminine qualities to trying to be self-contained. With the Hermit here makes me think self-contained. The Lovers here, the feelings don't change, but what you're actually getting is what I'm going to say, a tempered down version of their feelings, with them trying to look like they are measured. They're trying to look measured towards you, because to me this whole pile feels of something as if they're not enjoying being taken away from and being taken away with, because it makes them feel very, very emotional. I think your person's quite emotional anyway. It's the type of person that probably cries at X Factor. That's what I'm thinking. The type of person that can see emotions in other people, see it in you, enjoys it, but doesn't want to feel too exposed. And they've got the Hermit and the King of Pentacles to how they're resolving this situation. The Lovers are still there. So it's the Two of Cups has moved on to the Lovers, which, you know, is a major arcana. I prefer this one because it, to me, and which is probably very apt for this pack, makes me think that something's actually happening. And then the Lovers card, which to me as well, the feelings are there, but it's not, I don't feel as if this relationship is being acted upon as much as it should be with regards to the feelings. the ending with your relationship here, as in what you're going to be picking up in the near future with your story, your love story. It is a love story, isn't it, I suppose? It might not be a love story, it might be like a relationship with family or something like that, but still the King of Cups. This person's feelings haven't changed. What they've actually learned to do is to be a little bit more anxious with them, unfortunately. The Queen of Swords, this has now turned into practicalities and containing their thoughts. Why? I'm going to find out. Why has your person spoilt my pack? Let's find out. Why are they just turned into some sort of killjoy party pooper? And I was really enjoying this. It still stays the same. This person has big emotional feels for you, because they think that you are capable of meeting them on their emotional barometer, which they think is very grand. And then there's something here with the Four of Wands, which either they feel that they're not getting back what they're going to give out, and there's some sneaky off, or there's somebody else in the relationship and they've pulled back, they've gone into hermit mode, they're going to King of Pentacles, they've gone into, I'm going to restrict what I'm giving out because I've thought about it emotionally, I'm going to look in charge, I am a king, I am the emperor, I'm being self-contained, this is what you're going to get, even though my feelings haven't changed. Why are they doing that to my pile? Let's find out. I meant to you there, honestly. Okay, your person, Ten of Cups, as we've said all along, there's so many cup cards that turn very practical and turn very sort of intellectual. This person initially, I love these cards because I love lots of things today, because they just go in to me, they're a story, because they all go in 1, 2, 3. So feelings, big feelings, you can't really ask for more feelings off this person apart from the fact that they need to not hide them. Then restriction, it's just them, everything's blocked off. They're trying to come across as pentacles, they're trying to come across as practical, they're trying to come across as self-contained and mature, and they've thought everything out, and they're going to show you their emotions when they're ready. And I don't know whether they think you're with somebody, but they recognize something in you, and this goes all the way through, that they want, and they think they have, and they want it from you. And then the Justice card here is either there's a marriage here, there's a relationship already going, and they don't think it's fair, and hence why they have to do the sneaky snitch, and it needs to be equal. Either that, or they don't feel, which is very possible, and I think I touched on earlier, that you feel the same. La la la. Ooh, la la la. Let me see. So, right, pile number 1. I'm going to sum up your very exciting pile here. But a real, to me, it's a real, it's like Dr. Zhivago. It is a real epic story here. I feel if it's at the beginning of the relationship, it may be something that actually flourishes into something which feels fantastic, but you're not getting out what you know is going on underneath the surface. So what you've got here is somebody who has fallen for you straight away, who has seen the beauty in you, has seen you as grounded, and seen you as their equal. You've come in like a storm, and they've actually tried to reach out. Sorry there, pile number 1. My thing has just switched off there. I don't know how much you've got. I didn't check to see where it switched off, so I'm going to sum you up here. You have come in like a storm to this person. They have seen you as their equal. They have seen you as beauty personified. They have seen you as grounded. They have seen you as giving. They have seen you as nurturing, and seen you as caring and being very in control of yourself. They feel that they have put their feelers out towards you and tried to reciprocate, because they do see you as their equal. And I think this person has a very sort of, what I would say, a Cancerian fixed quality. And I know it's not fixed, but there's that sort of, this is who I am. I know what I give emotionally, and I'm expecting that back from somebody who can meet me as an equal. And they've slightly gone into a little bit of a defensive quality here, where they feel like, I'm going to give them something, I'm going to give out something and see whether they get it back. And I think what's happened is their emotions have grown and grown, and they've been watching you and the way that you act with other people, and it has just really got them. And I don't know whether you're in a relationship already, and that is making it feel as if the emotions are stronger to them, because they feel like they're a little bit blocked by that. There's some blockage here. There's some Four of Cups, and then you've got the Four of Pentacles here, to me, where it has turned somewhere along the lines, nothing to do with emotional feelings, but the relationship has been blocked, and they feel that either you've done something sneaky, which I think is, I wonder, the Leo feel as well. There's a real Leo feel of this person needs to be admired by you, and I don't know whether you can do it or you haven't done it as much as they would have hoped, and they've almost gone onto their back foot of looking practically and looking intellectually at the relationship, and actually pulling out a bit, I think, or just being more controlled. They're trying to be very mature about it. They've been more reserved. Their feelings are still the same. The King of Cups here runs all the way through, so it's the feelings are still the same, but they're actually trying to be a little bit more contained with regards to what they express to you. They've either seen you in a group situation where they felt real outpouring of energy towards you. There's something to do with those feminine qualities of giving without expecting back that they see in you, that I don't think they see in many people. This person turned on by emotional qualities and kindness. I don't know whether they have water in them, whether they have a watery Venus, but there's a real strength of emotions here. A real Pluto Moon, Pluto Venus, watching, waiting, admiration, overwhelming feelings, something painful in a slightly rebuffed feeling here. I don't know whether it's something you've done or the situation you are in, and they can't actually get to you. You're like, I'm going to say this. No, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say, yeah, I am. I'm going to say you're like the sale item. That I'm not saying you're on sale. I'm just saying it's something they've seen, they've wanted, they've made a move towards you. They're just about to grab you, and they've felt rebuffed in some way. Whether you can't reciprocate, they feel you can, but you won't. I don't know, or can't. I don't know. They want balance in this relationship. There's something to do with lack of balance here. And that's why they're trying to be very self-contained about the whole thing. Your cards are, as they initially see you, are major arcana, so you've made a real huge impression on them. They've come up as the Emperor, and then they've actually demoted themselves into emotions from the Emperor, who's very cool, very collected. You are their Empress, they are your Emperor, Two of Cups there, and then they've actually downsized themselves into what I would say turbulent emotions and wanting to basically jump into a relationship with you. And I don't know whether you've confessed something to them or whether they've just seen you. I'm assuming they've just seen your nature with regards to how you've actually been expressing it, or they've heard something about you. And then you get the Fours. This person's calling on themselves, the Justice card, and these Fours for stability. They want to hit a middle ground, so they're retracting huge emotions. Hey, I'm really contained. Hey, I'm really controlled. Please don't make a fool of me, sort of feelings. Yeah, this person is, you have got, this card is really weird because it's the 9 of, why have they turned, why are they sort of trying to contain themselves? The 8 of Swords here, to me, is the hands are tied. They are, through their own thoughts, restricting themselves where they can go with you, where they think the relationship's going to go with you. There's something to do with fear and anxiety. And then the 9 of Swords in this pack is so similar. It's not the lady in bed who's having nightmares. To me, these two feel the same. They always do. It's restrictions. It's being tied up by their own thoughts, their own anxieties, their own fears, and I wonder whether they are totally imaginary. And what they're trying to do, again, the story goes up the same all the way through, turning practical and almost trapping themselves. No way forward, can't go backwards, feel too much, can't go forwards, I'm stuck in it. Here I am in pain with regards to you. Why am I laughing? That's not funny, is it? Okay, right, pile number 1. I actually put those out to see what's going to happen next, and it's just told me exactly what I've got here already. So I think if I were you with this relationship, just continue being yourself and realise if there is a blockage here with why they can't go forward, just realise that is it. It's got nothing to do with their feelings. It's got something to do with distance, another relationship. There's just some blockage here, and it's got nothing to do with emotions, because the emotions are very big here. There's this person doesn't like to feel out of control. I don't know what their chart is. I keep thinking, and I don't know why, and I just try and say what I think, and straight away, and it gets me into lots of trouble. But I honestly think I'd rather be honest and in trouble than not. So I'm going to say, I wonder whether I can feel like a Pluto, Venus, Moon connection here in their chart. Somebody who feels big, but there could be some of that opposition, some sort of squares where there's restriction, there's huge feelings, but then fear with it involved in, I'm going to lose too much of myself, and you give freely. You don't lose too much yourself when you give. They love that. They admire it because they know that is their journey out of what I would assume is hard aspects to these planets in their chart. That's what I was feeling when I got these cards out here, and they see you again, and it always is. It's like they see you as healing that bit in them that you actually give away quite freely, and they actually feel quite fearful about it. So I wonder whether this has overexcited them even more, because there's that healing quality, there's that physical attraction, there's that emotional connection, there's a real strength of everything. I was going to say feelings, emotions. You've heard that before. There's a real strength behind this. They see you, the Fool card here, slapped between the two emotional cards here, as being the journey. I'm going to say the journey to healing, but that sounds like shite. It just feels like that's going to be really, oh God, yeah, because you're looking for something practical. But to be honest, every relationship that we tend to get taken away with is that, and we don't even know it. It's somebody who fulfills those bits, makes life more easy, free going, makes us more accepted, more acceptable, and makes us grow. That are the ones that we get pulled into and last the longest. This is how this person sees you. I feel like I have talked your ear off, pile number 1, so I'm going to stop there. Please don't blame this person if they've been a little bit cool at the moment. If you felt this at the beginning, if you can see that they're quite emotional, they are struggling with that. If this is your pile and this is your person, and you know that feels true, then this should also feel true as well. And I feel it's just fear of themselves and seeing something in you which they want, that they want in themselves too. It always is, isn't it? It's always the same story. And yeah, and it's the same story as well, that they feel that that you match each other. It's that projection of their energy that they have in them. They've projected onto you. You've done a beautiful job of expressing it, and they're like in awe of you. And then it's like, then they feel out of their depth, and there's some sort of blockage. So that's even more painful. And then they turn into this here. We all do it, don't we? Or is it just me? We all do that. admiration, and then there's a little bit of falling back and questioning yourself. Fiery people less so. Fiery people don't tend to look back as much as watery people. They just push forward. So they tend to get less into this. And then what happens with fiery people is they meet a brick wall because they haven't possibly, real fire, as in like, fire through the chart, as in not much else. My dad, for instance, lots of people around me, for instance, they get taken away with things. Life is like a, beautiful child's play, and then something hits them that they hadn't expected because they haven't thought about it or felt it, and it's just like bang, and then you feel really sorry for them because they're like kids. I don't get this feeling from this person, but there's definitely that blockage, and they knew it was coming. They felt it. They probably imagined it. I don't know whether they've seen you with in a group situation or you're already taken, but then there's a slight blockage and then they've gone to that. Okay, pile number 1, I'm going to finish there. My battery's about to go. If this has cut out halfway through, I'm going to send it off anyway. I've repeated it quite a few times, so I hope you get the message okay. And thank you very much for joining me. And if you I never say this, but if you haven't subscribed, please do, because I think it makes a difference. I don't quite know, but I think it does. So if you haven't subscribed, please do, and just to let me know that you're out there, just to put that call out. Why am I thinking of Klingons and Spock when I'm saying that? I'm not a Star Trek fan, honest. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. Yeah, this is pile number 2. Excuse that, the candle just fell over. At what point do people fall for you, or will they fall for you? But excuse the heat in the background. It's absolutely freezing. It's snowing here. I love it because we don't get it very often. Let's just get going then. Right, okay. At what point did they or will they fall for you, depending on what part of the relationship you are actually in? My battery may go in the middle of this. If so, I will just hopefully notice it and then slip the next one in, which is charging. Here's hoping. All right, let's go. Okay, I think initially this person saw you as being quite in control of yourself, being quite cool, but also they could see through that and see that you are possibly shy, but very kind, very giving, very nurturing, very sweet, very possibly family orientated, soft. There's like you're a bit like a Cancer. There's a bit of a shell. There's a bit of walking the walk, talking the talk, but a real softness inside you. You are the crab with the squidgy insides, and I think they could sense that initially about you. I don't know whether you have a position of authority in some way, or whether you're their boss, or whether you have to have a cool exterior, but they can sense the sweetness, they can sense the play, and I'm going to think the love inside you, but I just generally mean that sweet softness and openness inside you that possibly could hold the key to some love. Some love. What's that of? Some love. Oh, I know, Jane Eyre. Some love. When he wants to, when the vicar guy wants to take her away to Africa or somewhere, and she said enough love will follow. Shout me. Right, okay, so they saw you as being oh god, I've gone off on one. They saw you as being in control of yourself. You may have a position where you have to be in control of yourself. They saw you as just being a little bit sort of, don't come too close, but they can sense the softness inside you. Have you been dressing up as a policeman and frequenting public toilets? That's the feeling I'm getting here. No, not really. The relationship has developed, I think, with Burton's messenger acting. Okay. There's been the relationship has developed with, there's fear here. There's trying to find balance in this relationship. This relationship, this whole beginning has made me think of weighing up lots of different things. How you come across as trying to be in control of yourself. Not saying try, it could be your position in work. It could be just a very sort of, I would say an airy exterior, maybe Gemini, Aquarius, that, very cerebral, very much playing, or very much tight words, but there's a softness inside you, like a real sort of mellow, smooth moon here, and they can sense that. And then there's been, it does make me think of fear, trying to balance up what feels quite heavy and what feels quite fiery as well. So there's that you want to move forward, they want to move forward. There's watching, and I think restriction and heaviness, and trying to weigh up your personality. There's got to be something defensive here. You've got the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Wands. One's defensive and one feels heavy. It's like a relationship that can't move. For those reasons only you know. Maybe I may get an inkling in later, but not quite yet. The Knight of Wands is wanting to move forward, and then restriction. Justice is trying to find the balance of that. The Emperor, to me, is control, trying to look like you're in control, but you've got the Queen of Cups next to that. There's a real throw up here between control and on one side emotions, and then the other side of, it makes me think of somebody who has been through, and I don't know if it's you or them, through past relationships that have hurt. And there's a recognition of the sweetness and the softness inside of you, but they can all, I wonder if they sense something that you have been through that they've been through too. And there's been movement in the relationship, and it's felt as if it's almost getting on an even keel, but it makes me think that you're both bringing some sort of baggage, some sort of past relationship, some sort of bind from different relationships into this one, and it makes me think maybe you both have the same sort of backdrop to your life story, and it's not easy to get together, possibly, I don't know. 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands, Emperor, Justice, Emperor, Justice, Emperor, Policeman. Somebody in the forces, somebody in control, somebody who has to look like they've got a tough exterior but real softness underneath. This is how they see you, and it's how it's developed, and there's just a need to be controlled. What I think they sense in you is I think you're a tough bird. Male or female, you're a tough bird, but there's softness and there's fire inside you, and that's what they've sensed. You will get there. Let's take some different cards. It makes me feel like somebody who is either, that character, this is like lumping people into piles, and one day I'm going to get really tripped up by this, but I'm thinking like a forces character, somebody who's hard, but, and I don't, when you hear those stories of people who've gone through the forces and they've had like tough bits in their life that have made them who they are, this is what I'm getting at, that's what I'm feeling. I don't know which one's which at the moment. I don't even think it matters. I don't think it matters, because I think you're both very similar. So this relationship is developing, but almost with an eye on the past, an eye on who's hurt you in the past, your relationship with your mother and father, who you are, and coming into this relationship, and it's almost as if you're tiptoeing with your feelers out, both of you, seeing what's going to come next and whether you need to pull your guards up. So this isn't a real sort of tumbling, fun, sexy, falling in love and looking into each other's eyes. This is a very grounded, very aware, a sort of a feisty tough pile. You've sort of changed in my mind at the moment. This pile, don't take it too seriously. Just try and grab what you can out of it, of being less of a romantic rom-com and being more of a channel 4 play, where it's gritty and it's interesting and it's just very, I'm going to say healing, but I don't actually mean healing. I mean as you've decided to play the earth game in this one. There's no looking into each other's eyes in a sort of Neptune-Venus way. It's, I'm going to play through this relationship, and it makes me think you're very earthy or fiery as well, and I want it to be real. This part is very real. I'm very ready to get down to nitty-gritty in this relationship, rather than swanning around reading romantic novels and kissing your pillow. And he said that because I've been talking to my daughter today. Not that she does it, but we were taking the mickey. This person has fallen for you at the point where they have recognised themselves in you, which I'm assuming is probably the same in every pile, and very much the same in pile 1. My battery's going to go. I'm keeping an eye on it. But the recognition in this part is totally different. This recognition is got something to do with, they feel that your life experience is very similar to their life experience. The last part, it was very much the way that they react emotionally and you react emotionally, but they could see that, you could see that in each other. This one has got a more gritty feel to it. There's something to do with a healing again. The 9 of Wands, this woman crying, there's a real feeling of awareness and honesty, and you just feel very familiar to them. But it's got that edge of knowing where you have come from and who you come across as being very similar to where they have come from, where they've come across from. It makes me think of somebody who struggled a bit in their childhood, perhaps with parents, and there's something very similar in the pair of you, and you just feel like you're in the same. It's big. It's that you've got the Judgment card, you've got the Hangman card here. It's a healing. This has definitely got to be something healing here. The point that they have fallen for you is that recognition of you and the way that you have dealt with the way that you've developed in your life with whatever life has thrown at you, and made the best of yourself. And there's a real admiration for that. So inside you. The real admiration here from them with regards to how you have watched and learned and played life and done it in a... Hey, I got the battery just as it went. So there's a real recognition in you of your ability to persevere. There's a strength of character inside you. There's a real sense of justice in how you deal with things. This isn't a romantic pile. This is a real admiration, and an admiration for things that make life move, rather than just feelings, thoughts, and romanticizing everything. I wonder whether you're attracted to somebody who's very earthy. It has a strength in this pile. And it wouldn't surprise me whether the person you're asking for is probably somebody, or could be somebody who's very interested in defense, like a forces person, policeman, policewoman. It's got a real tough feeling to it. Now, let me just keep going. This is really interesting, but the story isn't there for me yet because I'm trying to see how it's developing. All I'm seeing is recognition of each other, of similar backgrounds, very similar backgrounds, and a real grit to this relationship. It's as if you both admire grit. It makes me think of an earthy pile of people that admire people that stick through things, that are there and they show up and they actually do things rather than talk about them. There's a vulnerability in the pair of you that I think, to me, is openly expressed, and there's an awareness there of it, because I think you've got 2 swords cards here and the 9 of wands. So this makes me think of somebody who's very, I'm not going to say open, but is not afraid to express what they've been through and how it's changed who they are and how they perceive life, how they reflect on things and how it's changed them, and it's changed them for the better. It makes me think somebody's very positive. This is what they admire in you. You have something, your positivity with regards to being grounded and with regards to being them. This is when they've actually fallen in love with you. Because you are, it's like the salt of the earth type of feel, but with grit behind it. Gritty. Right, okay. Which ones should we do next? Let's do these ones. Right, your pile tends to change in the complete opposite way than pile number 1. Your pile starts off with what I would say is being very practical, very sort of aware of where you both stand in life and what's between you and what's difficult for you both to get together. There's a real reflection on a part with regards to both of you in this relationship, or what is going to come into your relationship. But there's a real turning point, is admiration for the way that you deal with things, your toughness, your straightness, your honesty and your grit. And then it turns into what I would say is a more feisty and fiery feel, so that your relationship actually starts kicking off with communication starts to improve. There's real feelings of recognition that actually turn more emotional and more heartfelt and more like a wish come true, which has probably got something to do with this Wheel of Fortune here. The 9 of Cups is somebody who is, Jupiter's very sort of, everything's going to fall into my lap, I'm a playful puppy, it's going to work out okay. So you are both like this, going up, hard life, hard life, hard life. I'm not saying you have a hard life, like it's been really tough, but you are very ready to deal with that. You're very aware of who you are, where you stand and where you need to go, rather than just flouncing around through life like a dancing kipper. You're getting there, and this person recognises you for who you are at this moment and how similar you are, and they fall in love with you. And then that's when it almost starts getting a little bit more idealistic, a little bit more ready to make a fool of yourself. They're ready to make a fool of themselves with regards to their feelings towards you as the relationship develops, but not initially. I still think there's some distance between you, and this is when it starts flourishing into what I could see as a real strong physical attraction and a real strength of relationship here. With what to me, this page cards here make me think of 8 of Wands is like attraction, communication. With the Page of Wands, it's like the new beginning, and it just starts becoming exciting. So this feels to me like recognition, admiration, and then it starts flourishing. So to answer the question, what point did this person fall in love with you? They fell in love with you because of your strength of character. They fell in love with you because you have that appearance of being really tough on yourself. You've got where you are by being tough on yourself rather than actually slipping out of life the easy way. You've learnt your lessons. You've got a real honesty about there's a real honesty about your personality, and your qualities are just direct and open. This is really interesting, but actually quite difficult to express, but I can feel it. It's just a... Do you know when somebody's on TV, or... Do you know what I'm thinking of? What's that guy out of SAS? Ant Middleton. That's what I'm thinking of, because I've got the Emperor card here, I've got the Justice card here, I've got the King of Swords here, and I've got the Hangman here now, and I've got this Jupiter card here, and I sense from him, if you don't know him, you must Google him if you're in the States or wherever, there's a real sort of toughness about him, there's a real sort of wanting life to be bigger, and he's very positive, but he's very earthy. He's very much, he couldn't stand slippery people, you know, people that there's too much fantasy, and that's what I'm getting. This person sees in you those qualities that he has inside him. It's by actually being very positive, very forward thinking, but very real. This is what makes this person fall in love with you, those bits they sense in you. There's a real toughie. Tufty Squirrel. Old advert across the road. Lindsay's Green Cross Code. Okay, right, I'm going to start summing you up pile number 2. And what point did they fall for you? Okay, initially they saw you as somebody very in control, but with an edge of defensiveness about you, a real softness and a real gentleness deep inside, that what they would see as quite a cool exterior and quite a controlled exterior, but they could sense there's more to you. So you're almost like a mystery right from the very beginning, somebody they want to get closer to because they can feel there's more to you, but you don't let many people in. This relationship has developed because they just that real strong feeling of wanting to get close to you, of wanting to know what's on the inside. They feel as if there's something inside you, there's something to do with your life story, how you've developed, where you've got so far, that they share with you, and they want to know more. There's a real sort of mystery that they want to solve. The problem in this relationship is I don't think there's been enough time to let this relationship grow emotionally, or at the moment it's just a case of trying to there's a lot of intellectual cards here, there's a lot of recognition of similar backgrounds, but I don't feel there's enough time to develop the emotions and what I would say is the sexuality up until now. And they've fallen for you because there's something to do with your personality that reflects them. There's something they admire in you that they probably have themselves, and it's toughness. It's toughness, it's reflection, it's learning your lessons and taking everything and moving it into something positive. What's going to happen in the future and how actually the relationship, I don't know whether this is the future because it depends on the state of your relationship, but it could possibly be now. I don't know at what point you're at, but the 8 of Wands speaks to me of quick movement, of excitement, and the relationship actually churning quickly and beginning to flourish in a more sexual way. The 9 of Cups, there's more emotions coming in, and it's less measured and more spontaneous. To me, this feels like watching and waiting and wondering and recognition, and then it starts moving, and then it starts moving into a more sexual, a more emotionally compatible or emotionally expressive pile. Past, present, recognition of you, and then that's when it starts coming out. That's when things start moving. There's more of a sexual pull as the relationship develops. The Strength, the 8 of Wands, the Fool is more spontaneous. It becomes what I would say from... I can't really express this quality really well, to be honest. I like it and I've seen it in other people, but I don't think I've experienced it. You're the type of person they see as when the chips are down, when everything's fallen to pieces. It's very much, God, let me think of an old book. Persuasion. he recognises in her ability to there's other characters in this book who are basically over emotional, over this, over that, and just don't do anything, and then he falls in love with her because she's grounded. Her personality is very much the same regardless of how other people are falling away at the wayside, and especially in these times at the moment, there's something in you that's very focused, very in control, and very earthy. And that's what they are looking for. And that develops into what I would say is a real sexual pull, a real sexual awakening, a real strength of feelings. And I still think there's some distance there. There's still some coolness. Let me put some more cards on this. I wonder whether there's still tension here. I don't know why. There's something to do with, it could be distance, there's something to do with them thinking that they can't get any further in relationship with you, and that's when they've clicked into thinking you are perfect. You are perfect for them, and it's got something to do with when they feel that the situation has come to what I would think either a very tense feeling and they've got to move away, or you've moved away, or the relationship has naturally just gravitated in different ways, or there's distance to do with travel, or travel across seas possibly with the world here, where the relationship has ended. There's been a lot of reflection, there's been a lot of recognition of your similarities. There's tears here, there's tears. There's reflection, they've gone inward and they are trying to overthink things, and that's when they've actually fallen for you. So I don't know whether there's some hurt in the back. There's some hurt in the background here, background history, where pain, where you've split up, or whether there's been distance, but there's definitely a recognition here, a real recognition of you and your strength of character. You've got to have it. I can't believe that there's no earth in this pile between the pair of you. It's a feeling of somebody who's recognised this is somebody I could take through life with me because they're always going to be there. It makes me think, when I'm thinking of earthy people, like don't take this the wrong way, don't take this anyway, apart from the way I just shut at me. Do you know when you... My parents, I've said this loads of times, are both Capricorn, and what they both loved about each other was the fact that my mum bought the kids out. It was very old fashioned. My dad went to work, they had their cabbage patch, whatever it was they had, and they used to sit there saying, it really shows that a person's really dedicated when they can actually grow their own onions or whatever. It was that type of thing. They wanted somebody practical. And this person has that feeling that they want you to be there, to be practical, rather than to fall madly in love with and swoon for. They want somebody who's there, and your person has got to have earth in them somewhere, and I wonder whether you have as well. There's a real groundedness, there's a real grit, there's a real sense of responsibility, there's a real sort of admiration for people who show up and are there and are solid and pull people. But this is mixed with the Jupiter card, so it gives it a real strength of character. Because it's not just the earthy bit that's there for people, it's that real ability to look forward and bring the best out of people too. So you together, I would assume, would be a real formidable force, and that's what this person is looking for, somebody they can work with, whether it's working a relationship or work with in a work situation. And they've fallen for you when they've recognised those qualities inside you, and then this is when it starts developing into, either if your relationship is an easygoing one that you can actually move forward to it, fine, because it starts turning into something that is almost what I would say, it's like a snowball effect. It's like an avalanche where it begins to start having more force behind it, more emotional force behind it, and more physical attraction behind it. And then it actually grows and grows as it develops. The last pack was more a case of very strong beginning, and then perhaps just sort of is a bit of a smooth pond at the end. This one is strength of character, admiration that actually grows and becomes more physical and more emotional. Right, I am gonna stop there. Pile number 2. That's a hard pile, that. It's a hard pile because it's pulling on the practical parts of me that I possibly don't have, but I admire in other people, and I can see it. There's lots of people around me with it. It's grit. It's just gritting people in the best possible way. People that are there. This person falls for you because you are there for other people, and you have been in your past. Possibly, I don't know what your family relationship is, what your relationship is with brothers and sisters, but you're the type of person that is there for people, and this makes them fall head over heels in love with you because you have that groundedness about you. And there's reflection and there's positivity with it, which is a real formidable combination to be able to look back on your life and make the changes and pull people with a wheel of fortune, that Jupiter, pull people along with you and make it real, because what's the point of us all being here unless we could be grounded? I can't believe I just said that. There's no point as being here unless we can make it work in this lifetime. And you have ignited that thing, that you've hit that nail on the head. Right, pile number 1. I'm going to finish it there. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me today, and please let me know in the comments section. Please subscribe if you haven't, because I don't really know why I ask for this. I haven't asked for it since the very early videos, but I do know why I ask for it, because sometimes you have to haul yourself out in the snow and then come next door and do it. And if people don't subscribe, I keep wondering whether I'm on the right track or whether I'm going mad. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do. I won't bombard you with videos, but it's nice to know. So thank you for everybody else who's subscribed. You've just opened me up into a world of some beautiful people. The contact I've had with people has been really, it's been lovely, really lovely. Just people have been so kind and so open and so sweet. It's sort of, I'm not saying shocked me, but it's just, it's just beautiful. Okay, pile number 2, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. At what point did they or will they fall for you? Let's go. Moving cards around. Right, I think that you have appeared to them very different from the usual person that they go out with. There's something to do with an ending to their past life and looking forward and moving on into something fresh, something that feels new to them. It possibly could be that you don't look like their past partners, or it's an ending to their life and it's cutting off something and moving forward. I don't know whether you've made a huge impact on this person, and I don't know whether they're in a relationship or there's just difference and forward movement. There's something here that's quite shocking but forward looking, and there's something to do with the past and change. So I'm thinking this person sees you as an ending to one part of their life and moving forward to the next part of their life. The Wheel of Fortune, the Death, the Five of Cups. You've got some whopping cards here. You've got development, looks like an ending too. I don't know whether you're with this person or whether you've just had a really sort of huge impact on them and moved out the relationship, or whether there's distance between you now. It seems like somebody slapped them across the face. You know, that tango man that you used to get in the adverts. Well, I don't know if you just got them in Britain. The tango man was, they had it taken off because they had it taken off TV because it was seen as too aggressive. But it was like a little orange man that went up behind somebody and slapped them on the side of the face. You've been tangoed. You've tangoed this person. You've come up and you've entered their life, and it's like they don't even, it's just like, and you've come in, and I assume you're either gone out or it's just been such a huge impact that it's been, I would say, in terms of their mind, quite, I'm going to say upsetting, because it's blown them apart. It's something to do with you coming into their life as being a huge, huge turning point. It's ended something. And I don't know whether you've come in and had to leave pretty quick, or whether it's just some psychological ending where they have just cut out the rest. It's like, well, their life has ended in meeting you, and now it's going to be something different. Really strong. You've got Judgment card here. It's the people that come out of their coffins. It's like a revival. It's like a renaissance. It's basically tangoed. And then you've got the Ten of Swords ending, the Death ending, Five of Cups, old memories, and you've got the Wheel of Fortune. Leave that there. Princess Mental. Okay. Go over these cards now. You were up here, you were up here, you were up here. It's just could be psychological ending. The meeting you has been a slap in the face and a huge awakening. An ending to the past and awakening to something new. Right, this is quite a big pile. No, I don't want to use those ones. Let me use these ones. You've got three major arcana there. You've got endings, and you've got reflection of the past. This Five of Cups is like losing something, still having something left. But this girl has got a camera in front of her face, so it just made me think, just thinking back to something in the past. They've lost it, and it's something to do with their mental process with the Princess. Oh no, it's Princess of Pentacles. Princess of Pentacles. Not sure about that one yet. I'm going to come back to that. Princess of Pentacles. Work situation. Changing their financial situation, or the way that they look at their finances, or their practicalities in life, where they stand in life, who they are, who they show up as. Let's keep going and see. We can sum it all up in a minute. Right, you possibly could work together. There could be something to do with, what I think again as an ending of a situation. Again, the Hierophant is something traditional, so it could be a relationship that they've almost, by meeting each other, it's almost as if, I'm going to switch the file on, excuse me. By meeting each other, it's almost as if they have some structure in their life. Princess of Pentacles here as well. They had some structure in their life which they thought was very practically great. It fitted in with everything. Everything's flowing easily. You turn up and it's like, good God, what on earth was that? And I can see my life from a totally different perspective. And I wonder whether the relationship that's established already, maybe marriage, possibly with a Hierophant here. And then you've got the Seven of Swords with thinking if they want to. This is a problem here. So to me, the world with these death cards here make me think the problem in this relationship is the history. There's something to do possibly with past relationships. If it's not a relationship that you are both in, or one of you is in now, it's got something to do with a history in how you've actually perceived your past relationships, how you've actually learned. And then there's something there's something traditional here. which makes me think that either you are very different from what they are used to, or whether you are actually shoving them out of their comfort zone, or which is my first thought is they're married. And that's where this sneaky bit comes in, where to be in a relationship with you, the problem is that they would have to be dishonest. It doesn't have to be that. There's different scenarios, because I know there's probably more than one person watching. There's that different scenario of them having to take a different tack with regards to how they've approached every relationship in the past, because you have come in, and it could be like a Uranus feeling, like a Uranus Venus feeling of being a shocker. You know, you just woken them up. So it could be anything there with regards to those three scenarios. It could be any of them. I don't know. If we keep going, we'll get more of a picture, hopefully. What have you done to this person? This is basically, these three cards here are the answer to the whole question, and these rest of them are just like a future history look for me, being extremely nosy. So what point did they fall in love with you? I can't even put it to words. You've pulled the rug from under this person's feet. You have come into their life like a tornado, and I said that in pile number 2, but this one is like nothing on earth they've ever seen or had before. You have made them look at their life in a totally different perspective, or probably both of you, with the strength of this, these qualities, these characters, these cards, these, what the bloody hell am I talking about? I'll show you. It'll become easier if I show you. Right, this is the problem in your relationship. The Wheel of Fortune is you coming in with all these cards in the past, and it's a shock. It's like something changing in their life where something's been ripped away. The Tower card here just almost exemplifies it 100-fold of being a shock. It could be a positive shock, like a Uranus Venus feel, as I said, of just falling in love, and everything that you've built your life on, everything that you think has been really important to you, all of a sudden just isn't. And it's almost as if the attraction then is built upon a shock value of then wiping a slate clean and then just finding you the new goal. That's when they fall in love with you, and it has been huge and almost, I would think, almost spontaneous, but it's been a shocking. I don't know if I'm being too dramatic here, but this pile is dramatic to me. The problem is something to do with what they've built, the Hierophant here and the Tower card below. There's something they've built their past on that you've ripped away. And I don't know whether it's a relationship, or I don't know whether it's just a history, but there's something to do with them having to change their whole mental processes to get to you, if they want to get to you, which we'll find more out in the future here. So they have fallen in love with you, or they have fallen for you. God, who knows when? It was like a punch in the face for them. Let me keep going. On first impressions, you seem to them as if you could bring some goodness into their life, and it makes me feel as if their life has almost gone a bit stale. They're a bit stuck. There's a sort of feeling of being almost repeating patterns that feel quite stale, who feel quite stay to them. And then you've come in, and I don't know if it's got to be, you've got Death, you've got Tower, you've got Judgment, you've got the Ten of Swords, and then you've come in, and the relationship has developed with almost thinking that you are something that's needed. It's like if you're interested in astrology, it's like a Pluto or Uranus contact, and I'm wondering whether it's on an angle here. If you've got their chart, it's like an I see Pluto feel, where they feel as almost if they've had a breakdown, because everything that they've built their life on with this Tower card here and all these cards in the past, everything they've built their life on, everything that they feel is, you know, is them, how they've built their ego, how they've built up their practical, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but everything they've set up with regards to work, with regards to family, with regards to relationships, with regards to who they are, where they think they're going, has been, the slate's been totally wiped clean with you. And the problem is, it's got something to do with tradition and probably the ending of a traditional situation, or something that they feel that there has been correct for them in the past and now isn't. And they've got to find either a different way that they need to approach things mentally with this Seven of Swords here. And then this one here is a turning point of when they've been attracted to you, is when basically when you've done this all to them. But these two cards here don't quite fit in. Let me find out, because there's the turning point here is you've blown their socks off, but I wonder whether they think that you feel the same here. Oh my God, there's something they have to change in themselves, or with themselves, or with their relationships, or with past relationships to get closer to you, I think. Have a guess what your cards are. How can this be resolved? You've got the World again. You've got the World up here, which is completion. It's wrapping up a cycle, which is all we've talked about so far. You've got Judgment here. You've got Judgment down here, which is basically waking the dead, which is what we've talked about so far. You've got the King of Cups here. Somebody here has not been using their emotions, or isn't involved emotionally, or invested emotionally in their past life, in their past life or in their past relationship, and is just seeing what it could feel like to be involved emotionally again. They possibly have been skidding through past relationships, and oh my God, look at the crap on here. Skidding through past relationships without actually investing anything into it emotionally. Hi there, pile number 3. I don't know where this cut off, but I'll repeat it so you haven't missed anything. I'm really sorry the SD card finished. If you could see me, it's like snowing outside. It doesn't snow very often here. And this is my sister's house. I live next door. And so I come to my readings here. So I'm trudging over, which feels like it's Fargo, because it's just grey and snowing, and we live on top of a hill, and the wind's whipping, and I'm going back for batteries, SD cards, and I'm going to treat myself to some SD cards. Anyway, back to your reading here. I was just saying this pile here, I don't know where it cut off, was where the relationship could be resolved, and you've got the World again, you've got Judgment again, and you've got the King of Cups. So this is sort of telling me that this person hasn't experienced an emotional pull like they're experiencing now, and this is where things are going to start actually being less painful for them. You've almost woken them up. There's no other way. If you read tarot, I don't think there is any. This is dramatic. This is dramatic internally, I think. And then you've got the same cards repeated here for how it's going to be resolved. And then you've got the King of Cups. So there's got to be something emotional with regards to emotional awakening. And it's like a cutting off from the past and a moving forward. And you've done this to them. So at what point did they fall in love with you? When they realise what you had done to them emotionally. What you had basically woken them up to. But it still has a feeling of restriction, so I don't know whether you can actually move forward, but it's got a powerful feel to it. Alright, let's go, last bit then. Oh my good heavens, right, okay. this is your story. This relationship may already be in process, or it may be something that you're just falling into, or something that is going to actually come into your life or more into fruition, or it could be something from the past and you're just coming towards the end of it. I don't know, not the end of your relationship, but the end of, you know, this pile here. But at the beginning, it's dramatic. It's somebody who's woken up, when they fell in love with you was got something to do with what I would see as a real soul awakening. These cards are too big, too strong. There's something traditional that they have inside themselves or is part of their history, and they've had to find a different way to function in life, and you have made them do this, and this is when they've fallen for you. You've got 2 Seven of Swords, so they possibly could be a moral dilemma with regards to this situation. So it could speak possibly of commitments elsewhere, or it could just be something to do with them not being very good at expressing themselves emotionally, because then this relationship and this whole pile turns in from death-defying restrictions, death-defying convention, to what I would say is almost like a childlike awakening. A childlike is in it turns more emotive. It just, look, your last cards are how this relationship ends: Ace of Cups, Page of Cups, and the Fool. So it turns into what I would say from pulling through complete changes to almost like a childlike, romantic. And I haven't seen romance through this. It's almost like an upchurning of tradition. And then it turns into beautiful, romantic, heartfelt, outpouring energies that are spontaneous and free. So there's a real movement from restriction to freedom here. Even if it just feels as if you've got to take a different approach, which may not feel like a morally correct approach, but to be honest, if this was me and it was my reading and I was reading for your person, I would jump into it. This feels like hardships. The way that this person has looked at relationships in the past, they've felt like commitments for commitment's sake. And I don't know whether this is part of you as well. I can't, to me, I'm thinking mainly them, but both the times you mirror each other. Commitments for commitment's sake, whether the joy's gone out of it, maybe the love's gone out of it, or your relationships haven't been that fulfilling, and they've recognised in you the ability to bring an end to that. To bring an end to that sort of doing things for the sake of doing it. It's a type of feeling here of putting things on. This is a past relationship. When people are in relationships and they put things on public media, you can see how old I am, on like Facebook and Instagram, and it's to show how good their life is, but it's masking something that's not really there. I wonder whether their past relationships have felt like that. It almost feels as if the other partner has been the person that puts on they pitch their relationships on public media. Public media. Oh my God. I've got one of those TVs with those old-fashioned antennae on. No, I haven't really. But it's that feeling of relationship that fits in but doesn't feel. And then you come in, and at what point have they fallen in love with you when they've actually felt for the first time in a long time? And to them it feels wrong, and I don't know whether it's past commitments, I don't know whether it's just a complete shock, but there's something to do. It could be just basically changing their mindset. They weren't expecting to meet somebody like you, possibly, probably, hopefully, and it's been a shocker. That's definitely a shocker. And then resolved with the fact that it's just the world, the judgment. It wraps up all of this. It awakens the person to their emotions, and then the ending is, can you see these cards here? Wraps it all up. I just don't want you to think I'm making it up. Wraps it all up, wakes them up, and then it wakes them up emotionally, and this is how this whole situation is resolved. And the end cards here, how it's going to end, is Ace of Cups, outflowing emotion, Page of Cups, in touch with their emotions again, just generally romantic, almost like, I'm going to say childlike, but it's that fifth house feeling of just falling in love and being in love and just loving it. Love, that type of romantic fun feelings. This person hasn't had fun in their relationships, and they see that there's a possibility to be emotionally open and to enjoy a relationship rather than it being just so for somebody else's viewing. The Hierophant here is, to me, with these hard cards here, is so traditional that it's doing it for tradition's sake. It's like getting married to get married, not getting married because you're in love. It's just, you know, that past, I don't know, but it's a real strong feeling. And the Fool card here is welcome back to childlike spontaneity, welcome back into being yourself. And that's something I think you help this person with, you have helped this person with, and that's when they have fallen for you, because they knew that you would do that. Okay, pile number 3. I'm going to finish there. I hope I'm going to leave the video up, even if it just cut off in the middle, because I suppose I like to talk about life not being perfect, and we still get through with it. So I can't actually, be that hard on myself and just chuck things away because they just got nips in them. But thank you ever so much for spending time with me today. And I've said on all 3 piles, which I don't normally say, please subscribe if you haven't already. And I don't even know why I say this a lot, because I don't know. But I think it's because it makes it feel worth doing it, which, I feel like too old to be asking for subscribers, to be honest. But it makes it worth putting, getting out of bed and tramping across to do a video. Otherwise you'd honestly feel like you go mad. And thank you so much for anybody and everybody else who comments or subscribes, because it means a lot. And it's a really weird situation, I think, because it makes you feel really childlike when you're asking for people to recognise or to say something. But I don't think I think I'm going to cut this out. I feel it when I'm saying it. I think it's just to know that you're not talking to a wall. Really, I think it is. I don't know. Basically, if you're there and you enjoy them, please subscribe so that I don't think that I'm mad. And everybody else who has commented, who has been in touch, thank you so much. It means such a lot. And to the lady, I won't mention your name, who sent me the little video of herself, was absolutely beautiful. It made my day, week, month. So thank you. Anybody who's reached out, thank you ever so much. I hope to see you all again. Bye.